Well, hello, boys and girls, and over the next week, we're going to be having our children's meeting at 3 p.m. You're all very, very welcome. Please do share the link on YouTube and on Facebook. But we're going to sing a chorus, and then we're going to have our wee message, and then we're going to have another chorus at the end. Yesterday, we looked at Joseph and the first part of our talk, and today we're going to look at our second part. Now, yesterday we looked at how Joseph was favoured by his father, and how he got a beautiful coat, and how his brothers were very jealous of him, and then they threw him into a well because they were jealous and they were fed up of him. And remember, he had some dreams. But boys and girls, as the sun began to set, the brothers sat down at the well to eat their meal. Soon a group of traders appeared in the distance, boys and girls, and their camels loaded with spices to sell to Egypt. So they were businessmen. The brothers scrambled to their feet and pointed to the men. Reuben is not here. Now is our chance. Let's sell our younger brother to these traders. So the brothers pulled Joseph out of the well and sold him to the traders. So they sold him to get rid of him, to get him out of their life. So the brothers sold him for 20 pieces of silver, which is absolute buttons, which is absolute nothing compared to other things that you could buy. And boys and girls, when Reuben returned, it was too late. He couldn't save his brother. He was gone. Joseph had been sold. His brothers had carried out their wicked plan and sold him into slavery. Their brothers dipped Joseph's coat in blood for a goat and took it home to show their father. Is this Joseph's coat, they said, or they asked. Joseph grabbed the coat in horror. My son must have been eaten by wild animals. He tore his clothes in sadness and wept for many days. So he was so upset, and he cried for many, many days. Meanwhile, boys and girls, Joseph and the traders travelled through the desert until they reached the gates of Egypt. Joseph looked up at the buildings in amazement. Enormous stone pharaohs sat on their thrones. Huge shining pyramids rose high in the air. What will happen to me? He wondered. He was like, what's going to happen to me here? What am I going to do here? Will I ever see my father again? The traders sold Joseph to a Potiphar, and an important officer in the court of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. That's what the Pharaoh was. That's what a Pharaoh is, the king of Egypt. Life in Egypt was very, very different to the land of Canaan. You see, Potiphar's family ate strange food and different foods and prayed to false gods with a small g. But Joseph stayed true to God, the real God's command. I will only pray to God, the only true God, he said. Joseph worked hard for Potiphar, who in turn was pleased, and he said, your God, which is a small g, has blessed you. I will put you in charge of my house and all my servants. From then on, God blessed Potiphar and everything he owned because of Joseph. Years passed on by then, boys and girls, and all went well for Joseph. Joseph was having a great life, but then there was one problem. Potiphar's wife, like Joseph, had tried hard to seduce him. While her husband was away from home one day, she asked Joseph to spend time alone with her. No, said Joseph. Joseph said, no, your husband asked me to take care of his house. I cannot betray him. You know, boys and girls, we can all be tempted, and men and women out there can be tempted to have an affair and do things that are wrong, and we ought not to do that. Christians ought not to do that. No one ought to do that at all, because it is wrong and it's not fair and it's totally betrayal. And boys and girls, Potiphar's wife did not give up. She wanted him, and day after day, she begged Joseph to spend time with her. But Joseph feared God, Joseph feared Potiphar and did not listen. And he feared God. He listened to God's command. Finally, she came up with a nasty plan. While Joseph worked in the house, one day she grabbed his robe and pulled him into her room. But he ran away as quick as he could. And he could leave his robe in her hands. But boys and girls, this was a very nasty plan, because that was his robe. And that was in her room and in her hands. And how would she have got that robe? That's the question that would be asked. How did she get the hold of that robe? Potiphar's wife flew into terrible rage. She was so angry. But praise God that Joseph went through with God and he listened to what God had said. And you know, she did not, and she wanted Joseph so much. She wanted to be with Joseph so much. She lusted after him. If Joseph does not want me, I will get him into trouble. That's what she said. That night, she told her husband a lie about Joseph. The Hebrew slaves tried to kiss me, he said. But I screamed and he ran away. Potiphar was furious, thumping his fists on the table. Bang, bang, bang. He said, how dare Joseph betray me? Throw him into prison. Get rid of him. You know, boys and girls, that's a very serious thing to happen, to be put into prison. But boys and girls, that's where we're going to leave our message today. We're going to leave our message that Potiphar said to throw him into prison. Now, join with me tomorrow, and then we will find out our next part of our story. And tomorrow, that will be at 3 p.m. Now, we're going to sing another song, and then that's the end of our meeting. But boys and girls, if you haven't asked God into your heart today, you can ask him into your heart. You can go through with him. You can obey him today, and you can love him forever. What is man's chief end? Well, man's chief end is to worship God and to enjoy him always and to enjoy him forever. You should glorify him today, and you should enjoy the fellowship with him today. Well, thank you for listening, boys and girls. I do hope you enjoyed today's message. And now, have a great day, and then I'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m, God willing.